let's go backwards and think about the car industry. Remember back in the day, you probably don't. I was there, you were there, when they went on strike because they were like, we don't want robots taking over our jobs. How'd that work out? Well, how it worked out was the people that knew the industry and were able to adapt and shift and bob and weave became the people that educated the robot things, and then they, they got good jobs. The
Or
others,
learn how to build
probably
robots.
Uber drivers.
Learn how to build robots. Someone's got to build the robots. So those jobs might have been just gone over to people building and programming robots.
Yeah.
It's a different, but
Yeah, well, it also helps. I mean, there's a bit of a, there's definitely and we can have this conversation all day long. There's a bit of a lapse on people being productive in the world. And because they're going like, what do I have to do anything? All I have to do is blah, 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 and they'll spit it out. Hey, I'm all about the innovation. So are you. And I love the idea you can take VO3 and some other things like that and create a movie that will look like it's $100 million, because then your investors will go, damn, that looks good. Like we're talking about Valor, which is a military film I did with you. That you're like, Will, like this is way before, not way, but before like really AI started really snowballing. You're like, I've got aircraft carriers, and I've got, it's
it
gonna
all
roll this truck, and I'm
Google
like,
Google VO3 came just in time. Let me tell
I
you,
know.
because I was having a hard, it's a super low budget movie, and I try to find visual effects guys all over the world to do the visual effects. I was having a hard time. I have a guy now in Bangladesh who's doing my effects, but I actually Google VO3 came out in just the perfect time. I actually did like 60, 70 shots myself.
Damn.
And so yeah, I've got aircraft carriers and I've got missiles and I've got truck flipping over that Will somehow
Yeah.
out of and lands on the ground. Don't ask me how he landed safely and he's alive, but he is, and that's called suspension disbelief. But let me tell you though, back up here about how I use AI, because I think that might be interesting to your audience and I
Yeah.
think useful. So I use AI in a variety of ways. Now, something to remember: the AI really pisses me off, okay, because it doesn't always listen, and I don't
Right.
understand why these robots don't listen. It really makes me mad, and I'll tell you in certain ways, okay. And someone's got to slap those robots around. And sometimes I do. They say like when you're doing a prompt, don't say please because it just wastes
No,
energy,
just talk shit to them
right?
and go, come on.
But sometimes I'll yell at it. But so, for instance, if I have a script that someone gives me to read, I hate reading a script just like I have no idea what it is and start reading because most of the time they're bad. So what I'll do
Yeah.
is I'll stick it into ChatGPT or Claude AI or something. I'll say, give me a one-page treatment on the script,
Summary.
and it'll give me a summary and I read it. Now, sometimes though, you got to be really careful. The other day I did that and it gave me a totally different script. Like the story had nothing to do with the story I gave it.
Yeah.
And then I write back, it's like, this is not the story. Why did you do this? Oh, I'm sorry. I've made a mistake. Let me do it again. Like, so you have to be aware because could you imagine you read a script, you get a script, you get
Yeah.
the cliff notes of the script. I know you young people, if you know what cliff notes are, abbreviated versions.
Reader's
And then you go to
Digest.
and then you go to a meeting and you're like, well, the character Will, and they're like, there's no character Will. What are you talking about? Because it'll do that. So you gotta be really careful.
It's
So
called, by the way, you know what that's called, right? It's called hallucinating.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
AI is the model is hallucinating. They've done pretty well as now that ChatGPT 5 has come out. And
yeah,
but I'll tell you, my favorite is I use Gemini, because
yeah.
Gemini is, if you have any code or you really want to deep into it, Gemini is pretty much your deal.
Right. Well,
There's a lot of them.
there's only so much time in a day, but I got
I know.
so so I use it to make synopses of scripts so I can read them. I also, whenever I schedule a movie, I have to sit there for like 3 hours and write one-liners of every single scene. Well, now I just give it to the AI. Give me a one-liner of every single scene, and it'll pop that out. That just saved
Yeah.
me 3 hours of time.
Yeah.
I'll tell it to give me character descriptions. Oh, when I was doing the casting on the last couple of movies, and I need a description of every character. I just have ChatGPT do that. I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
That saves me a lot of time.
Oh, a lot of time.
Breakdown services will do it. If you're sometimes, but if you're not using them, and I don't even know if they do it anymore, you would know better. So I use it for activities that are very time. Now, that's not to say sometimes I learn a script better when I'm writing all the one-liners, but sometimes there's
Of
no time.
course.
Sometimes I have to pump out
Right.
a budget and I just need to make a quick schedule.
Get
And
it done.
now the other day, I asked ChatGPT to actually make me an entire schedule for a movie, like a 15-day schedule based on location and all this. And it did it. Now, I would never use that schedule, but I needed to pump out a quick budget for somebody. So
Oh, sure.
I was able to use it to just go, oh, okay, we're going to be at this house for 3 days and this house for 2 days. And I need this location. Now, it wasn't exact, but at least it gave me an idea. So
Right.
that kind of thing, it helps. Now, another way I like to use AI is, let's say I'm writing a script and I could say, exterior Suez Canal, an American aircraft carrier floats, as the sun sets or something, and a plane lands. Well, I'll take that, I'll put that in the chat GPT and I'll say,
Image.
I'll tell it, no, I'll take the text and I'll say, write me a description with the tone of a Tom Clancy novel, but the emotion of a John Grisham movie or something. And it'll turn that
Yeah.
paragraph into a beautifully written
Yeah.
paragraph. And now that it's not cheating because that doesn't end up on film anyways. It's just a blueprint for how to make the movie.
Right.
It's not like
Right.
you're selling a book with that description in there,
Right.
So it's a great way to make your scripts look and read better,
Yeah.
and save you time because I can sit there and write that stuff too.
Of course.
It takes me 10 times longer than the AI.
Yeah.
The AI,
Yeah.
2 seconds.